my friends, and thank you for joining me and for watching The Phantom Caballero. I want to ask you a question before we get started. Are you a threat to democracy? Because people like me have been labeled a threat to democracy. Now, we have talked about labeling in the prior videos about fascism and tyranny, and who is a fascist and who is a tyrant. We know that is basically, if you have not yet inferred, projectionism on the part of people on the other side of the spectrum. But let us talk about this threat to democracy. First of all, as you know, we are not a pure democracy. We are a constitutional republic. Thank God for that. That is why we have held up so long. Because our founding fathers, aside from being incredibly intelligent individuals individually, as a group, they were almost unstoppable with regard to their logic and how they thought this through. Having to deal with a tyrannical king of England, they developed safeguards in our system. And the Constitution provides us those protections and freedoms. So when someone says we're a threat to democracy, I wonder, what are they talking about? How am I a threat when I do not want to impose any will on someone else? And I'm sure you do not as well. Interestingly, we have a lot of issues with how the election of 2020 occurred. If you question the election results, you are an election denier, another label. But apparently, historically, those on the other side of the spectrum questioned elections all the time. But if you do it now and you're on, let us say, the more conservative side of the spectrum, you are a fool, a conspiracy theorist, an election denier, a threat to democracy. So that's interesting, because I will tell you, after the election of 2020, or pardon me, yes, 2020, there were a lot of videos from people who were nonpartisan, who worked in the election, who noted a great deal of abnormalities and corruption. And all of those videos disappeared. And so when we have these people saying you cannot question the election of 2020, you are then therefore going to upset the apple cart. You should be able to question anything, number one. You have that right. Number two, there were so many people that under oath testified and were shouted down by various state legislative bodies in a very disgraceful display of partisan politics. Those individuals, some of them did not even vote. Some of them had very clear accounts, and I myself saw videos of fraudulent activity, of undercover videos. So I find that interesting. You know, we are to have free and fair elections, not quick and easy or quick and dirty elections. The same people who say that you and I are a threat to democracy are the same people that think having a requirement for photo identification before voting is somehow itself a threat to democracy. I don't know how that is. If my vote is nullified by someone who does not belong on the rolls, the voter rolls, whether they're illegal or they're non-registered or what have you, then I am then completely obliterated as far as my ability to vote. That is a big deal. That is a huge deal. If that happens to enough people, then guess what? We end up with what I believe occurred in the 2020 election. So my friends, don't let anyone ever tell you you are a threat to democracy. Correct them with regard to our form of governance and government, and let them know you want free and fair elections. And that's really all you have to say. because whoever says you're a threat to democracy is projecting again. And those are probably the same people who do not want to require safeguards in our election system to protect your vote. Why should your vote be compromised with their fraudulent activity, my friends? Well, that is all I have to say to you. I appreciate very much you taking the time to watch these videos. And I will say again, this is the Phantom Caballero signing off, my friends. God bless you and God bless America.